following video is not made for kids. Your discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangi coming to you with what will hopefully be a successful review, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Legacy Evolution Voyager Class Twincast. Now, I have been waiting for years for an official Voyager class-size action figure of Twincast to be released. The first ever video review I uploaded on my channel back in 2017 was of my custom Voyager class Fall of Cybertron video game a Twincast figure. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get that figure to bring out to do a size comparison here with the Legacy Twincast figure, but I will do some size comparisons with some other Transformers figures. So, for those of you who don't know who exactly is Twincast, Twincast is the upgraded and rebuilt, reformatted version of Transformers Generation 1 Autobot Blaster. So, to summarize things, in the Transformers Generation 1 Japanese cartoon series, the Headmasters, Blaster and Soundwave had a duel to the death, and they both lost. They were evenly matched. And so, first the Decepticons rebuilt Soundwave into Soundblaster, and his paint job changed from basically his blue parts became black. And Blaster was then rebuilt by the Autobots into Twincast, where he got a slightly more paint job difference than Soundwave did when he upgraded into Soundblaster. All the parts on Blaster that are red were done blue when he upgraded into Twincast, and then all the parts on Blaster that are gray, they became white on Twincast. So you get the idea. Twincast is a reformatted version of Blaster. Now, for those of you wondering why he got such a huge name difference when Soundwave's name was just upgraded from Soundwave to Soundblaster, well, in Japan, Takara Tomy decided to rename Blaster Broadcast. So when he upgraded, he went from being just Broadcast to Twincast, where he had twin broadcasting power compared to what he was before he was rebuilt by his fellow Autobots. Now, one bit of trivia is that Twincast has two different paint jobs on his face. On his Generation 1 action figure, his face looked a lot similar to Blaster's, where it was silver, where it remained silver, but then just like Blaster's Generation 1 action figure, the two triangles, I don't know how you can see it on Blaster's head sculpt, but if you look right there, there's like two sculpted triangles here on Blaster's helmet. Those were painted to look like a pair of yellow goggles on Blaster's action figure, and Twincast retained those yellow goggle decos on his face as well. So, but here on the Legacy Evolution figure, just like Blaster, who was released in the Kingdom line, Twincast has the paint job that he was given in the Headmaster's cartoon, where his face is yellow and he has a silver helmet across his forehead. But yeah, he's really impressive looking here. One minor gripe I have is that some of the yellow paint on my copy of Twincast, the yellow paint that went into his mouth, it missed a spot, so it looks like he has some missing teeth. So, but I can use that in my imagination to chalk it up to when he was reformatted. It's just a very minor nitpick, but it's one that's noticeable for me personally. But anyways, moving on. Here's Twincast inside his box. We got some artwork of his alt mode of a mostly blue, white, red, and black boombox. He's got boombox. One thing that didn't change was the color of the compartment door that unleashes the Autobot cassettes. And one thing to note is just like Kingdom Blaster came with Eject, Twincast now comes with Rewind. So we have both between Blaster and Twincast. We have modern figures of Eject and Rewind across the Kingdom and Legacy lines, so that's really neat. Going here to this side of the box, you got some artwork of Twincast in his robot mode face. You got the whole robot mode there. On this side of the box, poster image for Legacy Evolution up there. And yeah, I'm just thrilled to finally have an official Voyager class Twincast figure that isn't a custom one that I had to make myself. So coming in here to the back of the box, you got Twincast in his robot mode and in his alt mode of a boombox. He transforms back and forth between both modes in 20 steps. And then there is an image of Rewind. He transforms back and forth from his robot mode to his alt mode of a cassette tape in 8 steps. And then They didn't even try here. They just said the Evo Fusion gimmick is just sticking his blaster weapon on his back. Because Twincast is a straight up repaint of Blaster, who again was released in the Kingdom line in 2021 before the Evo Fusion gimmick existed. There was just no way of doing it. So Evo Fusion, worst gimmick of the Legacy line, of the entire Legacy line, and in the Generations line over the past several years. But yeah, I'm just really thrilled to finally have this guy in hand. So without further delay, let's get Twincast out of his box and take a close look at him in his robot mode. All right, now before we take a look at Twincat Incast, let's take a look here at Rewind. So unfortunately, just like Kingdom Eject, Rewind is cast in almost entirely in clear plastic, so I really hope we get re-releases of these figures done in solid plastic, just like their Generation 1 figures, because I am really afraid of these two breaking with time. I am having half of their body parts made out of clear plastic. But yeah, just like the Generation 1 figures, Eject and Rewind, I mean, they have virtually the same paint job. The only difference is that because he was released first, the parts on Eject that are blue, they're now black here on Rewind. So getting them transformed is fairly easy. These guys are among the last of the Micromaster cassettes that came out that were originally designed in the Transformers Siege line, and Earthrise. I just said Siege. I meant that's right. The Siege line back in 2019. And it's been confirmed that one of the figures that's being released in the Transformers Studio Series 86 line next year in 2024 is going to be a core class figure of Steeljaw. Hopefully Ramhorn will soon follow. But yeah, here's a Eject and Rewind standing side by side each other, and another difference besides Rewind's having black parts versus Eject's blue is that Eject's head and torso, which was done in gray plastic along with his thighs, those parts are now white on Rewind, and Eject's yellow mouth plate is now red on Rewinds. So yeah, a little bit of a color swap, but the overall layout is the exact same. They have the exact same gold paint apps on their chests and pelvic Elvises, so overall, they're fun little figures to have, but again, I really hope we get re-releases of Eject and Rewind in done up in solid plastic, because these clear plastic bits have me terrified that they're going to break someday. Alrighty, give me a moment while I get these guys transformed. Alright, and so uh, the main gimmick with Rewind, just like Eject, is that you can store him here inside Twincast's chest, and first time he might be a little snug to get in, but once you get it lined up properly, the Twincast chest store does close up. Now, speaking of his chest, uh, on his original Generation 1 action figure, Takara Tomy decided to give the figure a larger chest that would allow up to 2 cassettes to be stored inside. And a lot of Transformers fans and collectors are disappointed that Hasbro didn't retool the chest as for Twincast like they did with his arch rivals. So for a size comparison, here is Legacy Twincast next to Siege Soundblaster. And Soundblaster, they gave an enlarged chest where he can hold 2 cassettes, not just one. And so for some hardcore G1 fans, it was upsetting to see that Twincast didn't get a larger chest as like Soundblaster did, and that he's basically just a straight up repaint of Blaster, which is incorrect, as I say that because they have different head sculpts. Blaster has more of a neutral facial expression, and Twincast has more of like a smirking smile on his face. So the faces are different sculpted, but everything else about the figure is the exact same. But overall, I can't. The chest being the same piece, it's no gripe for me because I'm just thrilled to finally have a Voyager class figure of Twincast here in my collection. So for a size comparison, here he is next to Kingdom Blaster. Alright, and so Blaster, and so here is Twincast next to Blaster, and also his arch rival Soundblaster. And then here also is Netflix Soundwave. So as I said, in the G1 Headmasters cartoon, Soundwave and Blaster, they had a duel to the death. They both lost, and they were rebuilt into Twincast and Soundblaster. So with the release of Twincast, we now have Voyager, modern Voyager class figures, not just of Blaster and Soundwave, but of their upgraded counterparts. Now, in more recent years, starting with the Transformer Siege cartoon that was released on Netflix in 2019, and then a few years later with the Cyberverse cartoon, Hasbro's been exploring the idea of Sound Blaster, instead of being an upgraded version of Soundwave, of having him be a separate character, and them just basically being lookalike Decepticons. Whether or not they're going to do that with Blaster and Twincast here is uncertain. Out of all four of these figures here, Twincast is the one who's gotten the short stick from Hasbro, because to this day, Twincast, as far as I'm aware of, he hasn't made any appearances in Transformers media here in the United States. He may have appeared in one of the Transformers mobile games or one of the comic stories, but never has he appeared in any cartoons. And this is the first and currently only figure of Generation 1 Twincast that's a dedicated blue repaint of Blaster that's been released by Hasbro. Technically, there was another Twincast figure that was released by Hasbro before this one, but it was the tiny little Headmaster slash Titan Master partner for Titan's Return Blaster, so I don't really count that as a figure of Twincast. But yeah, here they are standing beside each other. And just to have every version of the Kingdom Blaster mold, here also is the evil Shattered Glass version of Blaster from the Shattered Glass universe. So here's all three versions of this figure here. Twincast to the front since he's the figure this review is based on. But yeah, the paint jobs are all unique on all of them. As far as I'm aware of, in the Shattered Glass comic strip, Blaster and Soundwave, they didn't have a duel to the death like they did in Headmasters, so they didn't really upgrade into Sound Blaster and Twincast in the Shattered Glass universe. But yeah, here they all are standing beside each other. And just to go full circle, let's also bring out Shattered Glass Soundwave, because why not? So uh, changing, let's see, swapping positions here. So here's all versions of the mole, all standing beside each other. And for heroes versus villains, just swap these two around. And now you've got the heroic Transformers over here and the evil Transformers over here. So pretty nice setup with all of these figures here. And yeah, I'm speechless with excitement at finally having an action figure of Twincast to stand beside these figures here as well. This is a little off topic, but I personally hope that just like Sound Blaster, Twincast does, Hasbro decides to embrace the idea of him being a separate character from Blaster, and him and Blaster being look-alike Autobots like they did with Soundwave and Sound Blaster in Siege and Cyberverse. Earth, because I would love for to see all the Twincast along with Blaster and Shatterglass Soundwave fight against Sound Blaster, Soundwave, and Shatterglass Blaster. Or I just love to see these guys all interact with each other in a Transformers cartoon series. The battle of the battle of the Blast Waves, the orchestral chaos. So removing the bad puns, let's get Twincast transformed into his alt mode, and we will wrap up the review. Alright, and so here is Twincast in his alt mode of a boombox. Not much difference compared to Blaster. The only difference is the color change. The parts on Blaster that were red are now blue. The parts on Blaster that were gray are now white on Twincast, and the parts on Blaster that were black, such as the loudspeakers, speakers, are now red on Twincast. One minor gripe that I have with Twincast is that his robot mode feet are actually done in red plastic. They're just painted, the toes are just painted black. And I honestly wish they would have just used the same black plastic feet they used on Blaster, because it would have made more sense, because that's the one body part that didn't change color when Blaster upgraded into Twincast was his his sorry, his feet remain black, and then one another gripe I have with Twincast is that the handle of his boombox mode is done in red plastic painted black. I honestly wish they would have just done it like they did with a Blaster, where it was made out of black plastic, but I guess Hasbro decided red plastic being painted black was cheaper than actually using black plastic. But the chest door gimmick still does work. It still opens up. I've got Rewind in there. And then there's two configurations for the laser rifle that Twincast comes with. You can either plug it here on the back, so he can be more of a square, boxy shaped boombox. Or if you want, you can plug it into one of the three 5mm ports here on the back. Have it facing up. And then from the front, the barrel of the rifle looks like a radio antenna. So those are the two options you have for weapon storage for Twincast. The same exact one with Blaster and Shattered Glass Blaster. And unfortunately, that is pretty much it. This has always been the paradox with Soundwave and Blaster and figures that are subsequent repaints of them, because the alt modes of cassette players and boomboxes, because they don't actually work and they don't play music, they're just plastic boxes. So as far as play value go, it's a plastic box, so there's not really much interaction with it, unlike Optimus Prime, for example, who transforms into a semi-truck, because you just put it on the ground and that's it. Alright, and for one last special size comparison, here is Legacy Evolution Twincast next to his rival Soundblaster, who I'm having a very difficulty standing up, and unfortunately it's because the only figure of Soundblaster we've gotten is one that's a repaint of the Siege Soundwave figure, and I'm actually bought an upgrade kit that gives shoulder extensions that allows him to transform into a boombox. This figure wasn't designed to transform into a boombox, so I'm really, really hoping, getting off topic, that the Netflix Earth Mode Soundwave figure gets repainted into Soundblaster, just like it got released with Shatterglass Soundwave. But yeah, I'm still thrilled to have Twincast in my collection, and I think he looks great standing amongst all these other boxy cassette player and boombox transformers. So for the final proverbial question, do I recommend getting Legacy Twincast and adding him to your Transformers collection? Absolutely. You cannot go wrong having this figure in your collection, especially if you already have all these other Transformers figures here. From what I've seen from the feedback I've seen from other Transformers fans is that the episode where Soundwave and Blaster upgrade into Soundblaster and Twincast respectively, it's a pretty neat episode. And I'm just really thrilled to finally have an official Voyager class Twincast figure in my Transformers collection. I think it looks great standing alongside all these other boombox and cassette player figures, including the Shattered Glass versions of Soundwave and Blaster. Whether or not we'll get Shattered Glass versions of Soundblaster and Twincast is uncertain. I don't even know if they exist yet. And I do hope that we do get a repaint of Netflix Soundwave done up as Soundblaster, so we can have official boombox figures of all 6 of these characters. But yeah, this has been my look at Transformers Legacy Evolution Twincast. I highly recommend you get this figure. Even though the alt mode of a boombox is just a plastic box, it's still it's still a nice figure to have, especially when you know the history of Twincast and how he's the upgraded version of Blaster. Thank you guys all so much for watching. This has been the TFang Geek, and until next time, you guys, stay safe, stay healthy, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.